right here, this is the inspiration for tonight's Friday Night Live. This seashell, sand dollar ornament with some seashells was made by my friend Joyce Gibbons. We were at an auction to benefit missions, so organizations around the world doing good work for people in need. Sponsored through my church 2 Fridays ago. Actually, it was 2 Saturdays ago. And I bid on, she had some Christmas ornaments and some decorative skates that I bid on, and apparently I lost in the bidding war. And but she said, I'll get you some. So she made me some, and that was so sweet of her. So I hung some on my tree. My tree was already decorated, so I hung some of them. I didn't hang all of them. I didn't have enough room because she was very, very generous. But I hung some of them. And yesterday, I came home, and there was a whole bunch of white stuff on my couch. And my dog was on my couch. And I realized she had taken one of these off the Christmas tree and chewed it up. Such a naughty dog. Anyway, so then I got to thinking, I don't know, it's not necessarily that this inspired the cards tonight, but I got to thinking Christmas and you know, beach themes, and how about a Christmas beach theme? So I thought, well, why don't I see if I can combine these 2 stamp sets, Evergreen Elegance and Friends Are Like Seashells, and see if we can come up with some Christmas stuff. Now, I did actually make 3 different cards, and I'm not sure entirely which one I'm going to show you, although I think I'm going to show you a layout that I have not used yet this year. So let me put this aside. This will go back on the tree where the dog cannot reach it. Oh, that silly dog. She's been so good, hasn't eaten things in a while. And then all of a sudden, naughty girl. Naughty girl. So I need to go ahead and switch my, hold on just a second. I need to switch my iPad. Sorry if I'm shaking everything. Can't see your comments very well when it's in the location that it was in. So now I can see them. So hi, Sheila and Linda and Anne and Diana and Joyce. Nice to have you all here, and anybody else that's going to be joining in. We are going to start with a basic white, oops, not that one, a basic white card base. I've already got it scored in half. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to get out my Evergreen Elegance stamp set. I think this is a great set. It's got certainly Merry Christmas in there, but you know, for those of us who live in New England, we can definitely use this for a lot longer than just Christmas. And I'm going to use this pine bough. All right, I'm going to get out my Evening Evergreen ink. So I'm finishing up all my Christmas cards. My personal ones are done. I think I may have just a few more to do for the church cards that I make. I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to overlap it a little bit. I'm going to flip it upside down and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm leaving a little bit of space in the middle there. Now, to me, I'm going to be using an odd color combination tonight. Definitely non-traditional Christmas. Now, so far, the Evening Evergreen is very traditional Christmas, right? But we're going to change that up in just one moment. Let's see, I need to find my stamp cleaner, because I'm going to get this Evening Evergreen everywhere if I'm not careful. I meant to get my chamois all wet and ready to go, but yeah, I was eating dinner instead. All right, so now I'm going to bring in Coastal Cabana. That is what's going to make this a little bit more beachy. And I am going to, I don't need to cut this down right yet. I'm going to actually use my Merry Christmas from this set. And I'm going to emboss in white. So I'll get my Versamark pad out. Let's move this out of the way. My Versamark pad out, ink it up. And I do want to have it roughly about there. So I could have actually cut this the size, the length of the card. I'm just gonna wing it. And hopefully that's straight enough coming over the top. Go ahead and get my white embossing. My white embossing powder, I've used this a lot this season, so I'm going to have to get a new bottle, which means actually a new few bottles, because it only comes in a multiple pack now, which I am not fond of, because I only need the white. All right, here we go. Clean that off a little bit. I also really love this tray that Stampin' Up! Carried many, many years ago. It is great. I'm siphoning that back in. And just for carrying things around. See, everything's all in there. I'm going to take my embossing tool now. Let it warm up a little bit. And then as soon as I see it start to get shiny, I'm going to move along. If I let it stay in one place too long after it's shiny, see, did you see it pop white? If I stay in one place too long after that, it will actually melt right into the paper and no longer give that raised look. So as long as you just move it along after it turns shiny, you'll be all set. Here we go. Hi, Mary Lou. Nice to have you join us tonight. All right, I need a pair of my scissors here. This is going to go right over the top here, but it's not going to go all the way to the edge. I am going to cut it off right about here. I want it to come in probably the very ends. I'm going to flag this, so I want the very ends to be about there. Let's see, and the very ends to be about there. So now I'll just flag it. Okay, get these scraps out of the way. And I will be popping these up on dimensionals. I'm going to use 3 dimensionals here. Now another thing I want to have do, and I like to do this on my beachy themed stuff, is I like to get out the linen thread. I love the linen thread anyway, but I'm going to just kind of wrap this, up and down and have it all over the place in here. And I can secure it a little bit with these pieces here. And I'm not going to get real careful about how I'm doing this, other than the fact that I want to sort of center this and get it right underneath the piece. So we'll just come back and forth. And I know it's crooked right now, and that's okay. It'll be fine, because I'll make it fine. Oh, gotta slide it this way just a tad. Okay, and then I can cut some excess off. I just have a little bit of interest going on back there. Now, we need to decorate this guy, and it does look like I've actually stamped a little closer to the bottom than the top. Again, it's my angle, so I have a finished product that I'll show you that I did not do that on. So I'm going to take some crumb cake, and I'm going to take a piece of, let's see, I have some other pieces here somewhere. I just grabbed them. A piece of Blushing Bride. Let's go ahead and, oh, I have a piece of Coastal Cabana too. This is just scraps. It's a great way to use up some scraps. I'm going to bring my embossing powder and Versamark pad back in. And in my Friends Are Like Seashells stamp set, I'm going to get the little seashell out. And there are a couple of different little seashells. Maybe we'll do two different kinds right here. The one I made earlier today, I only used one. But there's two, so we might as well use two. So here's one. I'm going to stamp this. Hold on. I'm going to stamp this a couple times on my Blushing Bride, and you can't really see that. But you'll be able to once I put the powder on. Flick the back so you see the powder on there. We heat that up. This particular seashell has a die that goes with it, but I'm not going to use that tonight. This these seashells are not so big or so intricate that it's not, it's not hard at all to actually clean them, to cut them out. Let me put this away before I lose it. Those little stamps get me all the time. I'm going to take the other shell and put that on my Coastal Cabana. Let's see, you have them there. This is a little less detailed. It's a little more detailed, so I've lost a little bit of the detail with the size of the grains and the powder. But it still looks lovely when embossed. All right. I think that's all the embossing that we're going to do. So let me just funnel this powder back in. Close up shop with this. The other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to take this piece of crumb cake, and I want to stamp the starfish. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get the starfish, and I'm also going to get the sand dollar. I love the sand dollar. It's one of my favorite images. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. I know I've been on since then. I was on the last Friday of the month. We're going to go ahead and put my little starfish here. I'm going to get out my Memento black. I'm going to stamp a couple because I never know how many I'm going to need. This also has a die, but again, you can use the machine to die cut that, or you can just go with it the way it is. It really is not hard to cut out at all. I'm going to get a piece of white out. I had another piece of white out somewhere. Here it is. I'm going to stamp my sand dollar in my memento because I'm going to be using my blends on this one, just to add a little bit of color. I'm going to get out my crumb cake, just the light one, because I just want a hint of color on this. I think I'm pretty much ready to just color that. And all I do for this particular image is I just go around the very inside of the outline. Just gives it a little bit of depth. And I go around these holes actually. And then I color in this section right here. Okay, just like that. And to remove some of the harshness of the line, I'll just take my my color lifter and blend the edges a little bit. And that will just lighten up the edges, make it not so harsh. Some people like to actually do this step first. They do the color lifter, then color, and then you know, lift some more if they have to. See, it just softened it up just a little bit. Let me pull it up closer so you can see. All right, so we've done all we need to do there. And you can see it doesn't take long to cut this out. You know what, for the sand dollar, let me go ahead and cut that out. Actually, I can do a couple things at once, can't I? Because they're different dies. So let me take these two out in my sand dollar. Again, I'm going to show you in just a second how easy it is to cut things out as well. But all we need is our base plate and our number 2 plate. So number 1, number 2, number 3. Then we need the things that we're cutting. I'm going to put my sand dollar die right here. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to put, now I have found that this Starfish die, it looks like it's the same on all points, but I don't think it is. I think there's a side that's better than all the rest. It just takes me a second to find it. It's usually the last one I try. Yeah, it's going to be the last one I try, I think. That's pretty good. And while we're at it, we might as well take one of the Blushing Bride ones and cut that out using a die. All right, there we go. Now we just need another number 3 plate. I moved things. I don't think I moved any of the dies though. So I ran that through. Get it out of the way. My dies back on the magnetic sheet before I lose them. Again, the small ones are so easily lost. You really need to keep track of them. Let's move this out of the way. So see, we have those nice pieces right there. But I don't want just one of these. So I mean, I could use this die over and over again and get a bunch of these pieces. I can just pretty quickly take my paper snips and just outline. I like to wiggle it a little bit. I'm not necessarily perfect with the shape of the shell. It doesn't matter. So there we have one. We could cut out some more because I didn't want to waste your time. Look, I've got a whole bunch cut out. I even have another one of these cut out. I have, let's see, those. I have a half a sand dollar. So all we need to do here is figure out where we're going to put some stuff. Now, I think this sand dollar is a little bit too big for the card, which is why I cut part of it off. So I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out my placement right now before I glue anything down. And let's see. Maybe move this over a little bit. Have one up here. Maybe I'll put this up right there. We need our starfish. Oh, I think our starfish is going to have to go up here only because it balances out with the sand dollar. So we can tuck him under a little bit. Let's give him this pink one nearby. And we need one of these guys that we could just put in there. So it's really all a matter at this point of how you like the looks of it. I'm not too crazy with that right there. So I'll just play with it. Oops, took my, there we go. Now I just got to commit. So I'm going to commit. I'm going to get my green glue out and we're going to commit. So while I'm doing this, tell me, do you have all your Christmas cards done? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear. And I want to know how many you sent or how many you will send. Over the years, my number has varied greatly. Okay, now see, I think I want this on the top, which means I need to bring in a dimensional because this is on a dimensional. So now I've got glue on my dimensional, which, you know. Diana's got hers done. She does about 50. Are they mailed, Diana? Or are you waiting for a certain date to mail yours? My husband's letting the annoying cat in, so he stops meowing and whining because he wants to be with mommy. He is my little buddy. Nothing makes him happier than stamping with me. All right, and I think all I need to do for the sand dollar is just squirt a little glue underneath. There we go. And then I think we'll put this up on dimensional as well. But we're not done, lest you think. I usually send out about 100 too, Diane. Sometimes I'm thinking that's too much, but depends how much time I have. I had plenty of time this year, so it wasn't too bad. So there I have the basics of my card. Let's just finish it off a little bit with the Opal Rounds. And the Opal Rounds are just, they have these colors in them. You know, they've got that iridescent quality to them. Okay. Let's see. Where are we going to put these bad boys? Let's put one there. One here. Let's take a smaller one maybe and put up there. We want them in kind of a triangular fashion, so I do see a triangle, so that's good. So there's my Christmas card. Just got to stamp something on the inside. So let's see. It's friends like you that make this season so wonderful. May the beauty of the season. I think I'm going to do the May the beauty of this season. And I'm going to use it in a non-traditional color because I've used, oh, that's not big enough. Hold on. I got to get a block that's bigger. I'll use one of my paper pumpkin blocks. Okay, I'm going to use, because I've used a non-traditional color on the outside, I'm going to use a non-traditional color on the inside. Ooh, I think I just hit my head on the camera. Sorry if that wiggled it. And that's crooked because I just hit my head on the camera and not thinking about going straight. I will go ahead and we'll take out some of these extra pieces. And we can either go in the corners or we can go something like this. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So just a nice little beachy colored theme inside to go with our outside. Now let me show you. So see, here's the other card. I'd stamped it up a little bit higher. So pretty much the same thing. And I did a different card where this one, I used a blending brush to put a light layer of Coastal Cabana on the white cardstock behind the shells. I sponged the shells on, I sponged this larger shell and I cut that one out by hand as well with Balmy Blue and Blushing Bride, and just cut a couple of other pieces. I've got my pearls on, my Opal Rounds on there with a Merry Christmas on the front. I haven't stamped the inside yet. And then I also did this one. It needs to be pushed over a little bit, but this one I used some soft sea foam and I stamped it in Evening Evergreen on the top. So I kind of tied in a traditional color with these more coastal kind of colors. And this is on a note card size. So I did those 3 cards for Beachy Christmas. And that was what I did today.